Fletcher Chenard Designs is a label of quality and of responsibility. We take a lot of pride in what we do and strive to make boards that perform great and are more environmentally friendly. While we have a proven formula for making surfboards that are built to last, we are never satisfied and will continue to look for new breakthroughs in materials. Let me walk you through the process. It all starts at the core. Our extruded polystyrene foam blanks have a greater shear strength and use less toxic materials than polyurethane. The high compression strength of the extruded foam makes for a stronger core that resists buckling and impact. The foam has a constant density throughout the entire blank and does not absorb water. We take the block and load it into the hot wire jig. We take a rocker template and set it on the edge of the block. We then run the hot wire along the top and bottom contours that profile the contour block. That profiled contour block is then split down the center with another hot wire. Next, the blank gets its backbone, the stringer. Thin sheets of high-strength, lightweight woods are glued together. This means that any weak spots or knots are reinforced like plywood. We trace out the rocker outline with a template, and then we cut out the stringer with a bandsaw. The two halves of foam and stringer wood are sandwiched together with glue. We put it together in the glue-up rack, tighten the clamps, and secure the blank with nylon straps from nose to tail. We remove the blank from the rack and set it aside to dry. Once dry, we remove the straps. Now we have a finished high-tolerance blank that will fit a number of our models. So what are we going to make? Well, that's really up to the shaper. He knows what the pros ride, he knows what his friends ride, and he knows what works and what doesn't. All this gets factored into the design process. He shapes a board based on its requirements, it is ridden, tested, and once proven, it is digitally mapped on a computer. Now it's able to be consistently reproduced. We select a blank that will fit a desired model. A rough outline is cut, and the deck is beveled. In the machine room, we load it into a digital cutting machine. With the design for each model on a disc, the machine is programmed to cut out the shapes. It carefully cuts the top, bottom, and plane-shaped contours. Now it is time for the human touch. While the rough shaping is basically done, the second half is the most important. Our shaper, Fletcher Chenard, fine-tunes every board in production. He sands and smooths until all the features he envisions are sculpted into the board. Now the core of the surfboard is complete, but it's not over yet. A finished shape is just foam until it gets glassed. The type and weight of fiberglass cloth used are selected based on their performance characteristics and the kind of board. Fiberglass adds strength and stiffness to the matrix. We put just enough glass on our boards to keep them from being an immediately disposable product. Here is where the glasser takes over. He rolls out the fiberglass onto the shape, he trims the glass to the outline of the board, positions the printed rice paper logos, and mixes up his resin. We use an epoxy resin specially formulated to balance tensile strength, flexibility, hardness, impact strength, and low toxicity. It is about 2.5 times stronger than your average polyester resin. Now that the resin has been spread over the surface of the board and saturated into the glass, it is set aside to dry and harden. The surfboard now gets another coat of resin that fills any low spots and gives the sander a surface that he can sand smooth. The hardened surfboard is almost finished, but it needs fins. The finner routes holes into the bottom of the surfboard. Plastic plugs are placed in and sealed. The sander can now buff the board out to the desired finish. Before it leaves the glass shop, the board is looked over thoroughly to make sure that everything is perfect before it ends up on the showroom floor.